everyone. In this video, we'll be talking about the whole grain lesson. To start this lesson, introduce yourself and then introduce the topic. Whole grains. Next, ask the opening question. Ask people to think about what is the difference between a whole grain and whole wheat. Give them a little bit of time to think about it, and then you can share. So asking about the difference between whole grain and whole wheat is like asking the difference between a carrot and a vegetable. All carrots are vegetables, but not all vegetables are carrots. Same with whole wheat. Whole wheat is a kind of whole grain, but there's a lot more whole grains out there. Next, you can go through what makes a whole grain different from what we might call a refined or enriched grain. You can talk about this poster here, which shows that whole grains have the bran, the starch or endosperm, and the germ, 3 parts all intact. Whereas white grains, or refined grains, have the bran and the germ removed, so it's just that middle layer. This is where all the carbs are. In doing this, we lose a lot of the vitamins and minerals. We can also talk about how enriching foods adds back 5 of the 14 vitamins and minerals that were originally removed when you took away the bran and the germ. The next part of the lesson, we'll be talking about different kinds of whole grains. Most people are familiar with whole wheat, but you'll want to hand out these containers that all have different whole grains in them. Actually, some are also white grains. So we're just going to hand them out and then ask people, without looking at the bottom, which is where the answer is, to identify what the grain is inside. For example, this is multicolored quinoa. It is a whole grain. Whereas this is white rice. It is a white grain. This is different from short grain brown rice and amaranth. That's just a way to get people introduced to different kinds of whole grains and also kind of bring into perspective the difference between whole and white. The last part of the lesson, it's giving out different packages. This is how we learned how to read for whole grains on labels. So we have oats, barley, brown rice noodles, cereal. We'll hand these out to participants, have them look and see if it's whole grain. You can tell them to look for the ingredient list and then also the whole grain stamp. If they're comfortable sharing, ask them to talk about if they think their food is a whole grain or a white grain, or both. Or not both, but not 100% whole grain. Then you can hand out the handout and ask them to pick a goal for the week. This handout also has helpful cooking instructions for the different whole grains. Thanks for watching! Cooking class instructors, this video is for you. Our topic today was whole grains. Before class, look in the market for whole grain items that you can feature or at least highlight in your recipe. Try to not feature as many refined carbohydrates if possible. During class, talk about any of the whole grains that you're using. If you have the package, make sure to pass it around and let participants look at the ingredient list for themselves and identify or talk about how you knew it was a whole grain product. You can also talk about the different whole grains that we featured in the sample cups during the lesson, and talk about how you might use those to cook with. So, for example, farro, barley, quinoa. What do you like to do with those? Talk about salads, soups, or even how to make a pilaf. Just some ideas.
The facilitation tip that I'm going to cover is motivational interviewing. Motivational interviewing is really important when we're talking to people and helping them kind of realize some goals that they have within themselves and talking those through with them. So, for example, if I hear somebody say, I really want to cut down on the amount of salt I'm eating, but I just don't like the way food tastes without salt, I can kind of talk that through with them and say, I totally understand what you're saying. I know it's hard to find different seasonings and flavorings for our food without using salt, but then go into detail of things that they can do and ways that they can do it. So another piece of it is encouraging realistic goals. So if somebody says, I'm going to cut out all the salt that I eat, or I'm going to cut out all the sugar, that's not really realistic. Saying, well, maybe just start paying attention to looking at the label, saying, oh wow, this has 500 milligrams of sodium in it. This has 47 grams of sugar. Just starting to pay attention to things and writing them down could be a better goal for that person. Another piece of motivational interviewing is setting goals. So we want to set SMART goals. So we want them to be very specific. So If somebody sets the goal to exercise, when are you going to exercise? How often are you going to exercise? How long are you going to exercise? Is it going to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday? What days of the week are we going to do that, so that they know when they're supposed to be doing it and if they don't do it. We want them to be measurable and actionable, and then also realistic. So if somebody says, oh, I'm going to go out and run a marathon tomorrow, we might say, well, let's start out with something that, let's start out with walking 30 minutes a day or something like that, so that it's a little bit more realistic, so that people will actually stick with it. And then time-oriented, like I said, how long are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? Just having that kind of plan in place. So I hope you find those helpful.